Give us a sense of when these amounts, these incentives approved yesterday for Foxconn and Padget, 415 crore worth of incentives, when are these likely to be disbursed to the companies?
No, there is no dearth of funds. This is the Ministry of Electronics which they have to disburse, and I think it should be a matter of few days that this will be in their accounts, because it's but natural. It's just a matter of few days. It doesn't take time.
Right. I would also like to ask, how many applications for incentives were received in this round under large-scale electronics manufacturing PLI? There were a number of companies in the domestic sphere, also some foreign players. What about the other applications?
For that, I think you need to understand the way PLI scheme operates. As you know that Government of India announced a PLI scheme with about budget allocation of 1.97 lakh crore over 14 sectors. So the good news is that in all 14 sectors, the applications have been approved, and more than 700 companies, 717 to be precise, have been approved for investment. The way it goes, the electronics and the pharma, they were approved in the year 2020-21. So as a result, what happened? Their investments were completed in the year 21-22, and they went into the commercial production phase, and now their incentive claims have started coming in. The schemes which are sanctioned in 21-22, there the investments are taking place in 22-23. Their incentive claims will normally come in 23-24. There are certain other sectors where the investment cycle is short, say for example food processing. So there are about 5-6 sectors where drones manufacturing, there the incentives are expected to be actually given out before March. Our expectation is that about 4,000 crore of incentives would be disbursed before March, which will be these sectors where either the investment cycle is short, or the schemes which started a little early. Most of the other schemes were announced in the year 21-22. So right now we are in the midst of investment process. Once the investment is over, their commercial production will start, and thereafter the claims for investment incentives will come. So the way scheme is structured, once the application is approved, the company has to do the investment. They have to meet the minimum threshold target of the investment. Then they have to meet the minimum threshold target of the production sales. It is just not that after investment you get the money. It is after the sales you get the incentive. So therefore, it takes 2 to 3 years before the first incentive is drawn out. 1 to 2 years for investment and first year of production thereafter. And it is only the increased production. So as you would have read in the press note which the Ministry of Electronics gave yesterday, they have met both the targets of investment and the sales.
Right. So that's an important point that you're saying, sir, that 4,000 crore worth of incentives could be disbursed across 4 to 5 sectors before March 2023. Could you give us a sense of some of these sectors, sir?
Yeah, I said pharma, drone, food processing, electronics. So as I had mentioned, it is either the investment cycle is short, the putting up the machinery is just a matter of few months, like smaller machines like in food processing, etc., or the schemes which started earlier, which is pharma and electronics sector. Rest of the sectors, the investments are taking place. Till now, more than 47,000 crore of investment has taken place. Almost close to 4 lakh rupees 4 lakh crore of production has happened, and almost 4 lakh employment has been generated in 14 schemes put together.
So that's an important status that you're giving us also, sir. There has been a regular review of PLI schemes. You have been conducting those meetings with different ministries and also with the industry. Are you looking at maybe making some changes to some of the PLI schemes to make sure they attract greater investments?
Yes, these schemes have been after done with a lot of consultation with the industry, and by and large, as it has shown out, that most of the schemes are fully subscribed, so it had good offtake. Since it was done in consultation with the industry, therefore the offtake was good. But there have been certain savings for various counts. New sectors which are being examined, there is a committee at the level of the cabinet secretary, which is called Empowered Committee of Secretaries. The reviews do take place at the level of NITI Aayog also, and regular monthly meetings do take place at our level also. So this is how things mature. When more ideas come, you look at more sectors. But as of now, those 14 sectors which have been approved, I gave you the statistics, things have started taking off, and it's a very good news that the first incentives have been drawn. The first incentive was given to Padget about 2 months back, that was 53 crore, and now 2 more incentives have been issued, because in electronics there is a special mechanism where CEO NITI heads the committee. In other schemes, which we learned later, the power has been delegated in most of the schemes to the concerned line ministry.
Right. So you are saying that there could be more sectors, sir, which could be covered under PLI. Without going into what new schemes could be announced in 2023, could you give us a sense of the amount of fiscal headroom that the government has for new PLI schemes, for new sectors?
No, anything. The way we select a PLI scheme is, basically it has to be strategic importance. It has to have export orientation, means it can become a global champion. The company can become big, and because of economies of scale can become a global champion, or it can have a large employment. So these are the basic criteria on the basis of which a PLI sector is selected. More importantly, we also ensured in the design of the scheme that the support which is provided is slowly reduced. It is a tapering kind of a thing, so that by the time, typically in a particular scheme, the support would be provided for a period of about 5-6 years, typically 5 years. So at the end of 5-year period, the support would gently come down so low that the company is able to stand on its own legs in the international competition.
Right. That's an important point, sir. I'd also like to ask you about the quality aspect. Now, we have been seeing and also getting reports of how after the Maiden Pharma incident, for example, where there were questions about the quality of the cough syrups because of the deaths that had taken place in Gambia, that the government was asking the line ministries to ensure that quality is maintained. We also saw that with the PLI schemes for electric vehicles and advanced automotive components, that the focus must be on quality and safety when it comes to judging companies for PLI incentives. Is this a yardstick that is going to be implemented closely across PLI schemes now?
If you want to be a global champion, you have to concentrate on the quality. If you recall Honorable Prime Minister's word, zero defect, zero effect. There are two things which are important. One is zero defect, you are talking about the quality. Zero effect, you are talking about the sustainability. These are the watchwords for competition to move forward. Quality control orders are being issued in various sectors. Like, I would like to share with you a story on toys. 3 years back, the story goes that there was a mystery shopping done in Indian market. More than 66% of the samples failed on some count or other. Means there were substandard toys, and there was a huge import of toys into the country. The department came up with quality control orders. They were implemented. As a result, over a period of time, what has happened? Indian companies have been able to improve their quality. So from a trade deficit of about $200 million, within a matter of 3 years, it has become a trade surplus of more than $150 million. So that is a change in the equation. That has happened because of the quality. Second thing is that the second mystery shopping which was done after a gap of 3 years, the percentage of samples which passed, which met the standard, moved up to 85% from 33%, which shows that there has been a real impact on the ground of these quality control orders. So this is the move forward. It is just not that you give the money which makes the system grow. You have to address it holistically. You have to ensure the quality. You have to give the various other things like ease of doing business on which we are working. So therefore, it's the whole hand-holding of the companies which ensures that we are able to help the companies to grow to being global champions and thus increase the exports and have quality goods within the country.
Right. And my final question, sir, if I were to ask you about the mobile phone PLI scheme or the large-scale electronics PLI scheme, we saw $5.8 billion worth of exports in this sector in FY22. What could be the growth in exports from the mobile phone sector in FY23? And if we speak about the PLI schemes in general, are you working on certain projections on the kind of investments, capacity building that we could see because of the PLI schemes next calendar year and next fiscal?
The way we look at this, mobile is one of the biggest success stories. From 2021, that's FY21 to FY22, the exports grew almost double. And from FY22 to FY23 till now, that is up to the month of November for which the data is out, the growth has been doubled once again in these 8 months. So typically if you look at it, from FY21 to FY23, we are almost coming close to 4 times. If this speed is sustained, we may maybe close to 4 times or maybe a little less than that. That is how it is moving up. It is a real revolutionary story, success of PLI. So if you look at all 14 sectors put together, it is expected that there will be an investment of about 2.75 lakh crore rupees in these 14 sectors by 717 companies for whom the application has been approved. And over a period of the cycle, which is 5 to 6 years, right now I'll have only those figures, but if you want for the particular fiscal years, we can work it out because all these companies have given their year-by-year program. A particular sector, say MNRE sector, there the companies will actually start production a little later. Their applications have been approved now, so it is 22-23 and 23-24 will be their investment cycle. 24-25 is what they will start claiming the incentives. So their production and the incentives will go for 5 years. So typically these schemes are for 5 years. Okay. So depending on when they have started, all these have started in the last 2-3 years. So the end cycle is also that way separated out by 2 to 3 years. In certain, because of the peculiarity of the sector, they have given an incentive over a period of 7 years. So it all depends on the way you have calculated the disability in the sector and the way we look at it. Like in most of the schemes which have been designed, a part of the disability has been met through these incentives and remaining part is through efficiency which companies are making up.
Okay, Mr. Jain, thank you very much for joining us on the performance of the PLI schemes. Let's shift focus to the auto sector now. The auto